Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to another Live Wire Sports Media Update. All right, so I'm going to do a revisit of the Chrissy Sides firing and the potential of Stephanie White hiring to the Indiana Fever. All right, so yesterday we had breaking news of Chrissy Sides being let go by the organization. I did a video, I did a short to it as well, detailing everything, talking about from how everything was in terms taking place. So we all know that. So like I said, I'm gonna start with Chrissy Sides first, then I'm alluding to Stephanie White and how all of this is going to iron out and how all of this is going to work. So we all know that Chrissy Sides, got hired on 2 years ago. She drafted Melissa Smith and Lexi Hall. Throughout the season, we saw her had issues with Melissa Smith in and out the lineup. Melissa Smith didn't get no playing time. She was really just, all over the place. We had to deal with her girlfriend, Dejan Carrington, over there in Connecticut. Then Caitlin Clark, her and Chrissy Sides couldn't get on page early on in the season. Chrissy Sides came out with some comments during press conference before the season started. Talk about she wanted Caitlin to take long twos instead of long threes. You see her pulling on Caitlin through some games. You see her and Caitlin disagreeing on stuff. And she wanted to pound the ball down low. She wanted to do all of this. She wanted to do all of that. And so forth, so on. So I'm going to just show you one of the incidents in the game that shows you that Caitlin Clark level of respect for Chrissy Sides.
Now, Indiana has not yet used Chicago. All right, so here's the question, Rebecca. 0.5 is put back on the clock.
We already know what that play was. And you can see Caitlin Clark. You can see Caitlin Clark frustration. You can see Alyssa Smith not Alyssa Smith, but Katie Lou looking up at the clock. You can see everybody like, what is Sides talking about? That's just one of the issues. Like I said, you saw one where Caitlin's come off the floor. Chrissy Sides grabbed her. She tried to hold her. And then there's a slew of other things. Like I said before, Chrissy Sides never was for Caitlin Clark. Never was. She tolerated Caitlin Clark because she had no choice. Now, for Caitlin Clark tolerated her in spite of her being inept of a coach. Now, some of y'all gonna say, well, hey, Chrissy Sides got them into the playoff. No, the team got themselves into the playoff because Chrissy Sides had to change in the second half because Lynn Dunn, they brought somebody in to help Chrissy Sides. And I still can't remember the guy's name. I always have it on the tip of my tongue. But she didn't change until the second half of the season. And then there was still some issues going on because there was games that they should have won. Because they didn't play great against the Aces. They didn't play great against Minnesota. And they did beat Connecticut the last game of the season. But to go to 20 wins, but they could have had 25 wins. But Chrissy Sides, stubborn, she didn't get out her way. Yeah, the team built chemistry, but guess what? They built chemistry on their own. They started spending time together for themselves. Chrissy Sides want to have all of this scavenger hunt and all this crazy stuff going on and everything like that. But, and she always preaching defense, but the team still, because guess what? If you look at the roster on that team, guess what? They didn't have the pieces to play significant defense because they didn't make the moves that they needed to around free agency, or they didn't even pick up players. For one, they let Celeste Taylor go, a girl that could provide defense coming off the bench. She could have learned how to play with Caitlin, move with Caitlin, just like Lexi did. But they waived her, got rid of her. For what? For Wallace, Christy Wallace, for Grace Berger. I don't think Grace Berger is a bad player, but she never got a chance. But then you see Celeste Taylor went to Connecticut at first. Then she was on a 10-day contract. Then she ended up going to Phoenix. And then she spent her rest of her. I think she went to Phoenix first, then Connecticut, then back to Phoenix, and then she signed on to the rest of the year. So, me personally, feel like Chrissy Sides and Lynn Dunn kind of like wanted to rebuild this team, but sabotage this team at the same time, despite having 2 number 1 picks. And when you have 2 number 1 picks, you need a coach with high IQ, because even Kelsey Mitchell said herself that Caitlin has a high IQ. You have to match that level of IQ. She's a generational player. She's like no other player that's in the WNBA right now. And we could talk about how great the other players is. There's no player in the WNBA right now that has a high IQ of Caitlin Clark. That's like you having LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and damn Michael Jordan. So you need a coach that could gravitate to her like that. You don't need a MF coach to continue to sit here and talk about preaching defense, but you don't even know how to run offense. You don't even have an offensive coach on your team. Hell, at least Phil Jackson had Texas winners on this team. At least Popovich know how to run a system. Chrissy Sides never been a head coach. She's just been an assistant. She bounced from Chicago. She bounced from Atlanta. She bounced from Indiana. To me, I think she should coach in the college ranks. That's where you can make your bread and butter at. The coaching in professional sports is totally different. Totally different. So then she posted on social on X yesterday. She said, found it better than, found it better than you left it, than I left it, or whatever case may be, whatever that means. Like she improved the team. So I was listening to Scott Angus. He's a writer for The Fever. He does, him and Chloe. And I follow him, and he said something very, very important. Very, very important. And I want to make sure I get this out to you, the fans, as well to other people who think that Chrissy Sides just kept her job. She wasn't never going to keep her job. Even if she had came back this year, she was not going to keep her job long term. And he said this profound thing. He said that Chrissy Sides was brought in to do what she needed to do when the time they had needed her to come in for the team. So what the team was back then, they just needed Chrissy Sides there for that moment. But now you have Caitlin Clark on that team. They don't need her no more, because she's not the right coach to coach that person. Chrissy Sides don't have the IQ equivalent to Caitlin Clark, even though she's older, but Caitlin is a generational player. You know what I'm saying? See, if they didn't have a Caitlin Clark and they just settled for Little Boston, they would have been fine. because she would have kept a job. Leah Boston just would have been an average player. She wouldn't have been a top player. But now that you got a Caitlin Clark that it could bring a Leah Boston potential out even more, and whoever else is on the team, they was not going to settle for Chrissy Sides. They know that Caitlin Clark is a generational player, and they're not going to keep a subpar coach with her. It doesn't mix. So they have to go somewhere else. And that brings me to what I'm about to get into now, and that's Stephanie White. Now, again, I'm going back to Scott Angus real quick. He said that in his report, he said there was 3 candidates: Stephanie White, Kurt Miller, and a college coach. But the college coach is a wild card. But Stephanie White is tops. Now, I've been reporting on it. And before I even get into that, I want to give a shout out to Adrian Ross, because she continues to bat 1,000, because she did report it on it first and say that Chrissy Sides was not going to be the coach over there. And even when me and her, when she brought me on her show, and me and her talked in depth, and she asked me a few questions, and I told her my feelings about Stephanie White, but I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. Now, I know some of y'all out there want Lisa Brewer, but I'm going to tell y'all, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you, she's not going to be the head coach of the Indiana Fever. And this is not saying that I don't like Lisa Brewer, because I love Lisa Brewer. I think she's a sweetheart. I think she, you know, what she have done with Ivor, with Caitlin Clark there is phenomenal, you know. But you got to think, she is 63 years old. You don't know how long she wants to coach. And for what I have been told, and what I have conversations, and what I've been told, that they did approach her for the job, but she turned it down. So I don't know why she turned it down, but she turned the job down. But Stephanie White was they choice, they top choice. Now, Kurt Miller is pretty interesting name to put up there, because the fact of the matter is that, you know, he did coach the Kinetic Sun. He took them to the playoff a couple times. He's been with them for 7 years, but he then took the LA Sparks to the playoffs for 2 years, and that's why he got fired. Some speculate he could be the candidate for the Chicago Sky. Some saying Chrissy Sides could be, and I could just see how that'd be another disaster. But anyway, I just think that it's Stephanie White, and it's always been Stephanie White. It was just a matter. Now, as I'm getting into Stephanie White, I'm going to play a clip because I got clips in this. As I play a clip, I'll play a clip and I'll talk, and then I'll close out. But I'm going to play this clip. This young lady is talking about Stephanie White and her connection to Indiana.
That being said, I was able to go to Caitlin Clark's first ever regular season WNBA game, and I'm watching the morning shoot around. And Caitlin Clark, I would describe as someone who is a little reserved, maybe shy, and as other players are engaging with each other, as the two teams are swapping opportunities to practice on the court, the first person that Caitlin Clark spoke to was Stephanie White. Now, Stephanie White has covered Caitlin's games as a part of the broadcast for Big Ten, and was very complimentary of Caitlin Clark. So again, if Chrissy Sides maybe wasn't the right fit, if this indeed is a move to activate and get more from Caitlin Clark, then Stephanie White is likely at the top of the list.
Okay.
And that goes to prove that she's on top of the list. And the thing about it is, people don't know this, but Stephanie White is from Indiana. That's her hometown. She has family there. And I think the most important move was because when Stephanie White gave her exit interview, she was emotional because she had some family tragedy going on. So guess what? Being home is going to be more to her. Yeah, she spent time in Illinois, but that's not her home. as some Chicago Sky podcasters will get you to think that, you know, she'll be a fit for them. But like I said before, why would she go to a toxic situation? Why would she leave a one toxic situation to another? So, and even Stephanie White has talked about her time with the Fever. Because remember, if y'all remember, if you don't remember and you're new to this, this is why I'm here. Live wire. I bring it to you live. Kelly hired her the first time around. She was in 2015. Kelly hired Stephanie White. Stephanie White took the Indiana Fever to the finals that year. Won coach of the year as a rookie coach. Never been done. Now they did lose. They did lose to the Minnesota Lynx, as I reported. And also, Stephanie White was a player for the Fever. Also, Stephanie White was assistant coach for the Fever and won a WNBA title with the Fever. So I'm telling you this is to say that she has ties to this team. It fits. It's like a moth to a flame. It fits. You know what I'm saying? Like a glove, it all fits. Now I'm gonna play another clip and I'll come back to you.
Coming back to the Indiana Fever, what's kind of your reaction to what that'll mean for this franchise that's on the rise?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think, you know, Kelly certainly has been the architect of everything that's gone on in the Indiana Fever franchise from day one. And so for her to come back, I think it says how serious, you know, the organization is to taking the next step. And I think it shows Kelly's love for the W, right? Love and commitment to the W and to the Indiana Fever franchise. You know, certainly there's no one better to usher in the Fever into this next era than Kelly.
You listen to what she said. Guess what? Why do you think they bring Kelly back? Why do you think they moved Lynn Dunn back? Why do you think today is the first day on the job for Amber Cox? Because this team been there before. Kelly knows that, and she's going to get them back there. You gotta have a coach that you're familiar with. As we all know sports, but you know when a person hires a president and they hires a new GM, you know they're gonna bring their own person in. I'm sure Lisa Blue would have been wonderful because she has a relationship with Caitlin Clark. But hey, there's a downside to that too, because what if the players feel some type of way about it? You didn't want to have a LeBron situation where if Caitlin's not happy, she keep changing coaches, and be a coach killer, and the franchise never get what they might have success, but they can never win the ultimate goal. You feel what I'm saying? But I do want to show y'all something, because see, this is why I'm here. I'm here to highlight things for y'all so y'all can see. Because Stephanie White has been watching Caitlin ever since she was in college. See, y'all might not know this, but Stephanie White congratulated Caitlin Clark when she broke the scoring record in the NCAA. And I tried to find that clip to play it for y'all. But if I do find that clip, I'm definitely going to save it, and I'm going to play it for y'all in the near future. But Stephanie White, she was a broadcaster for the Big Ten, calling some of Caitlin Clark games back then, before she returned back to coaching. So she's familiar with Caitlin Clark. She's familiar with Caitlin Clark's game. She has high praise for Caitlin Clark. She never talked bad about Caitlin Clark, despite for what some of y'all think because she was coaching Connecticut's son. Y'all think that, oh, she allowed her players to do this. But guess what? She didn't allow her players to do that. Upper management did that. See, Stephanie White and her GM didn't see eye to eye. I believe Stephanie White wanted to do something to Dejanay Carrington, and the GM probably said no. So that tied her hands. So if your coach has time for doing any discipline to your team, and your GM steps in, that's just like an owner that owns a football team. Let me use the Carolina Panthers for example. David Tepper. He meddles in. He picks who he wants. The coach can't pick who they want. They got to pick what the owner wants. Same thing. The GM said, you know what? Hey, you're not going to do anything to DeWanna Bonner or Alyssa Thomas or Dejanay Carrington. Whatever happens, it happens on the court. You just continue to coach the team. How can a coach like that continue to deal with something like that? She only been there 2 seasons. She got them to the playoffs. She's like, you know what? Hey, I'm done. I got 1 more year on my contract. Nah, I'm good. I could walk away from it. You know what I'm saying? She could void her contract and go work and take the fever job and be done. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Y'all want to hold Stephanie White accountable for what happened with Caitlin Clark, but that's not, you can't do that. Because the fact of the matter is, y'all go back and look at all the praise that Stephanie White has gave Caitlin. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I'm gonna show you a photo of Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White together during this season. And look, and I want you to study it and look at the conversation they're having and tell me that they don't have respect for each other. You look at that. Stephanie White is talking to Caitlin Clark on the sideline. And you could just imagine the conversation what they're having. But look how Caitlin Clark is engaged with Stephanie White. And I know Caitlin Clark probably said, dang, I wish you was my coach. And guess what? I believe Stephanie White said, you know what? I would love to coach you. See, we can't always jump to this conclusion and think that a person is bad because they play for a bad organization or team. It don't work like that way. I don't see many situations like that before. And you can't victimize or you can't criticize another coach for something. Now, Stephanie White was horrible and she just been like how Cheryl Reeves was, then I'll be like, nah, I don't want her to coach the Fever. But she's never been that way because throughout her time watching Caitlin for college, congratulating Caitlin on breaking the scoring record and calling Caitlin's games and watching for her from afar and still in the W giving Caitlin Clark high praise. You have to respect that. So why would you want a coach that has the pedigree of winning and coaching arguably the best player that's in the W right now, a generation of talent? So now, I want to show another clip because this one is very important to me. Because a lot of people kept saying, well, Stephanie White runs the same kind of offense that Chrissy Sides does. Her offense is slow-paced. Don't you know that when you coaching a team that's really not fast and predicated on defense, you have to adapt to their style of play? You can't say that Stephanie White doesn't know pace. Yes, she knows defense. And in the playoffs, the Fever the Sun outpaced the Fever. And that goes to show you how bad Chrissy Sides is, because she could not adapt. She has never adapted to anything. Not coming out in the third quarter, not calling timeouts, not adjusting or when teams make a run or whatever the case may be. She doesn't do that. You watch Stephanie White, when the Fever made some runs in the playoffs, guess what? Stephanie White neutralized that. They neutralized everything the Fever tried to do. So why you think that she won't be able to do the same thing when she get the pieces in place over there in Indiana? So for y'all to say that Stephanie White does not know pace of a game and she only know defense, well, guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to shock y'all.
Let's go, Fever on three, 1, 2, 3. Fever!
There's catching, driving hard, shoots and scores.
Nice push here by Indiana. Marissa Coleman spins, wins.
Good finish by Coleman.
Stephanie White's style is working for the Fever. The fast-paced offense and stingy defense.
We win this game with our defensive energy. We get every loose ball. We make every hustle play.
Stripped by the best thief in the history of the WNBA, Tamika Catchings.
Oh yeah, turnover!
Talk about this Indiana Fever team. It all starts with Tamika Catchings.
To beat the Fever, you have to go through Catchings.
Catchings, oh, what a tough shot.
Here's Catchings, spins down the lane. Right hand got it.
Tamika Catchings over 6,700 points in her career. She just passed the idol Diana Taurasi for #2 all time.
You can see she's eager to get that ball into the paint. Tamika Catchings is simply amazing.
Tamika Catchings tonight has the 95th double-double of her career.
Now, I'm showing y'all this to make sure y'all understand that.
Since the All-Star break, it's been nothing but fun for the Indiana Fever.
This is the team we knew that they had within them all season long.
And you watch how
Lucas answers at the other end.
you look how fluid the team is. How they do
Strong move
how they
by
cut to the
Shavonte
basket,
Zealous.
how they
I just don't know how you stop this team. They're just steamrolling right now.
And guess what? They're playing through Tamika Catchings. They playing through Tamika Catchings. So guess what? They will be playing through Caitlin Clark. So for y'all to sit there and say, hey, her defense is like, her offense is like Chrissy Sides, that's a prime example what she did when she was at the Indiana Fever. Fast pace. And now the pace is even faster. She got a true point guard and a 2-point guard and a shooting guard all in one that could facilitate, push the pace down the floor, play. And like I say, when she get the pieces in place to play great defense, don't be surprised that the Indiana Fever end up in the WNBA finals the first year. Don't be surprised that they win the title in the first year or the second year. I'm telling you now, and I don't know how much more I can explain it to you, but hey, that's what I do, bring great content to you, bring information to you, so you can sit here and see that this is all of this stuff right here with Stephanie White is you have to, one thing that Adrian Ross, she always speaks on, and like I said, shout out to her, because she always tell it like it is. You have to dig deep. You got to look beyond what you've seen on the surface. Because what Stephanie White was at Connecticut, that does not mean she's going to treat Caitlin that same way. Like I said, she has a lot of respect for Caitlin Clark. Lots of respect for her. So why would she want to see Caitlin Clark succeed? Excuse me. Why wouldn't she want Caitlin Clark to be great? She was like I said, she played in a W. She really, and guess what? Stephanie White probably see similarities of herself and Caitlin Clark. She could probably show, as a player, coach, you could probably show Caitlin a lot of different things. Yeah, Chrissy Sides was a player too, but she was never on the level of Stephanie White or Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White could relate to Caitlin Clark because she probably played the same position Caitlin Clark did. She wore the same number Caitlin Clark did. So why not? Now, will y'all be disappointed if Stephanie White? That's up to y'all. I mean, I'm just here bringing information to you, detail for you. You know, like I said, Stephanie White is the top choice. And when she get hired, we're gonna still rock with this team no matter what. And I really think Stephanie White is gonna be great for this Fever organization. For her to come back home, be closer to her family, it's going to give her a peace of mind. That's all I'm saying to y'all. Be open-minded about the situation. Do some research. I'm giving you all the information. Do some more research. Say, you know, hey, I didn't know Stephanie White had an offense like this. Now you do. Like I told you, she has the background. She won a title with them as assistant coach. She took her to the finals as a first-year rookie coach. She called Caitlin Clark's games in the Big Ten when she was a broadcaster. She gave Caitlin Clark a shout out when she broke the scoring record. So she's familiar with Caitlin Clark. Like I said, she gave Caitlin Clark high praise, talked about her significantly, you know. So at the end of the day, guys, we definitely has to get out of our feelings, because talk about bringing Mark Jackson, Larry Bird, and all that stuff, they ain't not coaching in the W. Mike D'Antoni, no. I think the two best candidates for the job was Stephanie White or Lisa Brewer. That's my take. Stephanie White and Lisa Brewer was their top two choice. And I think they wanted Lisa Brewer. They probably talked to Lisa Brewer before they talked to Stephanie White. And Lisa Brewer probably said, nah, I'm good. Like I said, she's 63 years old. Is she going to coach for 10 years? Coach Clayton for 10 years or 7 years? And then what if she doesn't win a title in the W? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure they were going to pay her in the amount of money she wanted. They're probably going to give her all the resources she wanted. I mean, no doubt about it. To me, like I said, but you waited on the coach that you want, Stephanie White, and now it's just a matter of days for announcement. Like I say, Amber Cox is being, you know, her first day on the job is today. So we definitely will be keeping a close eye on either this afternoon, tomorrow, about the new head coach announcement. But it's all etched in stone. So the only thing now, once we get the coach in place, it's the time to start building a roster, start picking up free agents, start putting people in place. So that's my take on this, guys. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel any way you can. Trying to get up to 7,000. But like I said, this is just a more in-depth follow-up of the videos I did yesterday, because I really didn't have time to really dive into it like I want to. I wanted just to highlight a couple of things and get y'all to understand, hey, this is where this is what happened, this was transpiring, now this is where we at, this is where we're going forward with the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever. And like I said, Caitlin Clark needs a coach that's high IQ, and Stephanie White is high IQ, you know. And knowing that, hey, she's going to be there, she's going to be home, she's going to work with Caitlin, and, you know, this team is going to be great. And I'm looking forward to it in 2025. But right now, first things first. Until then, like, comment, subscribe, support this channel any way you can. It's your boy, Livewire Sports Media.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.